All right, guys. Well, I know many of you have been around since the beginning, and so I just told Michael and Kara yesterday night that it's very bittersweet because it just has been such a good journey, and I hope that these sessions have been helpful for you. Um, I think in some of the pages that I've been seeing, I've seen some of the stuff that we've been talking being implemented, and that's so good. I hope that it does definitely help build your business for sure. So definitely, I'd like to think that I saved the best for last because um, understanding your analytics really is something that will help you to create content, to basically build content in the future. Um, I'm gonna add the file here. I'm not sure if you got it.
Oh, I
Um,
did. I was going to do that really quick.
oh, okay. Yeah, so we're going to talk about both Facebook and Instagram. We're going to talk about Facebook first, just because I think more of you are on it, which is a good launching point, and then we'll move on to Instagram afterwards.
There it is.
Oh, and then afterwards, if you could let me screen share, then that would be super great.
Yeah, so I've got that workshop worksheet uploaded um, to the chat, so everybody can download that. Oh, you wanted a screenshot? Is that what you
Screen share, please.
screen share? That's I don't know why I didn't do that. Screen share, man. I apologize. Today is
It's Wednesday. It's
it,
okay.
yeah. I don't know what's going on. There we
We've
go.
just all agreed this week we all need a just 3-day week. That just would be super for everyone.
I think I'm just tired from driving.
Um, that does happen too, for sure.
So well, there you go.
So yeah, so we're gonna start with just a couple of these. What you're looking at, I kind of made a glossary for you here on this worksheet so that you can kind of know and go back to, if you're looking for something later on. Facebook has free analytics for you, and so does Instagram. Um, However, other people use places like Sprout, like what's the other one? Hootsuite has analytics as well. If you want to get something that you pay for, it usually can create reports for you. Um, as the theme of this whole workshop has been, we like free. So that's kind of what we're working with today. So where you're going to go to find your analytics is on the left hand tab. You're going to see something called insights, and you're going to see a couple of these tabs, or you're going to see these tabs show up first, and that's where we're going to go for starters. So when you're on your page, you're going to see again that tab called insights. You'll go down a couple, and that's where you're going to get it. You're going to get right off the bat a couple of notifications from um, like just general stuff. So you're going to get actions on page, page views, page previews, page likes, post reach, story reach, recommendations, post engagement, responsiveness, and videos. And if you notice, just as a reminder to something that we talked about before, you'll see that a lot of these numbers are like super green, 3,790%. That's because of that same program we talked about when we boost posts that are already trending and doing well. And so um, this is kind of just a good place to kind of just get a general gauge of how your page is doing. You'll notice that you have two options for 7 days and for 28 days. I would say take the 7 days report with a grain of salt because a lot of things happen in 7 days that can change how things happen. For example, November was a terrible time for social media, and you can probably guess why. Um, a lot of people were just staying off of social media just because they were just tired of the negativity with everything that was going on in politics. A lot of people just, you know, were tired of seeing all of that kind of content and they just wanted to get away from it. And in addition, Facebook and Instagram, because they're both from the same company, became very restrictive. They started to censor a lot of things. They removed hashtag usage. It was a mess. It was a huge mess. Um, and so everybody's numbers, from what I saw, from different accounts that I help with, they were just looking really, really bad as a result. There will be times like that, and that's, it's understandable, kind of like anything, else. There's outside forces that we can't control, but then we want to make sure that we can work on the things that we can. The big thing that you want to focus on here, notice that it doesn't have like post likes on here, and that's kind of the big theme of today. I put at the very top of your sheet, it says, let me just do my desktop, might make my life easier. It says, while likes are important, they are not the most important. So, getting 20 likes on one post, that's great, especially if you only get like average 10. But that doesn't mean that it's the most important thing, because a lot of people, as you know, maybe they just don't click like on things. Maybe they just, saw it, noticed it, and moved on. Reach means the number of people that saw your post. So this number will always be the highest number. And usually that's the first number I look at when I look at my analytics, is how many people are actually seeing my content. That number increases as people share your stuff, as Facebook, as their analytics realize, hey, people are paying attention to this. Your numbers will go up there. Post engagement is the number of people who actually interacted with your content. And that looks a little bit different depending on stuff. So an engagement might be a like, it might be a comment, it might be a share, it might be clicking on your images, which is why images and videos are so important for Facebook and Instagram. Those are the main ones you want to focus on the immediate page. Page likes is also kind of important. It just helps you to know, like, are more people, joining in on my page? So, if you're wanting to track overall, well, I'd like to get to 500 page likes, then that's an important number to keep in track of. But of course, within the context of maybe more than just 7 days. So, I haven't had as many page likes, I can tell from here. Less people are looking at my page. Less people are clicking on my posts. And my reach, though, because like I said, I have that combined paid and organic reach program that I implement into my own social media, then it's also helping to get more people to notice my page. When you scroll down, you can actually see how people are doing and how engagement and things are going as far as your page is concerned. So things that I noticed that did really well. Remember, I told you guys that quotes do really well. I posted a quote here and it got a pretty decent amount of reach, which is really, really good. The thing that I got lowest was this post on just a tip. Maybe it wasn't a tip that worked very well. And so then that's how I start keeping in mind the things that are working and the things that are not working. That's what you basically want to do for all of your posts. You want to look at your posts for like the month and just kind of look at, see, okay, well, which ones did best for me? The posts usually, as you guys have noticed, pictures with yourself in them do really, really well. So, I can tell right off the bat just by looking at these numbers, this picture or this post had my picture in it, it did really well. This post had my picture, it did really well. This post also had my picture and it did pretty well. Of course, considering that it also had that boosted, that boost on it as well. So those are things to keep in mind as one way to use your analytics. The next place that we're going to go to is on this side, you're going to see a couple of different other things that it will show you. It's going to show you, first and foremost, followers. It's going to show you a trend of how your followers are going. if your social media page is doing what it's supposed to be doing, it should be growing. Not exponentially, not like insanely, but let's just see, you know, you want to check out for some months of time. And so, you had here in November 276, now in March 298 or 309. So it's a steady growth. It's not the best growth, but it is growth. And that's kind of what you want to see. The problem, of course, when you decide to start changing things is if you notice that there's just no growth going on, or maybe even you're losing followers or likes on your page as well. Um, it will show you also like when the followings were happening. And so it also, again, you can decide and go back and see, okay, well, what did I do on February 15th that allowed me to get some new followers? I know for my page on the 15th, I made a Valentine's Day post about my husband and I. And so I know that that got a lot of really good traction. And as a result, I got some followers. So it, again, you want to use all the data that you're seeing here to help you make decisions about things you want to do in the future. Did the first link not work, Michael, or? Okay, just making sure. I see that it was there for a second time. All right.
I was on. Yes, it did.
Okay, good to know. So the next one is likes. This, again, just gives you an idea of your number of page likes. And so you want to be able to see things from, again, a span of time. And so what I tell my clients especially is you want to look at things in spans of at least 3 months. Reason being is that social media growth is slow. Even when you have the best plan put together, it doesn't happen quickly. And so if you see things, of course, like let's say we were just looking at from February through March, we might not see very much in that time span. We're seeing about, you know, seven growth. That doesn't really show us a picture. What does show a picture is when you see, okay, well, sometimes my efforts don't seem like a lot, but there is some growth happening. It's just to keep in mind, like, okay, let me make sure that I'm making things happen, especially if your goal is to grow your following. Then you want to make an effort to do things that would help you to grow the number of followers that you have. This is the one that I personally probably use the most, because again, reach is probably one of the things that gives you the most information as far as what you're posting and how it can help you to make future post decisions, if it'll actually load. There you go. Okay, so it's showing me again those spikes for specific posts, and those will tell me, okay, well, those are the posts that I want to post more of. When you go back to that overview, this is a practice that I do definitely for my clients, is just go back and look at those numbers. That reach is telling me, okay, how many people is this getting to? And so I want them to stay at least in the hundreds every time I post. I mean, and of course, every post isn't going to be in the hundreds or the 300s or 200s, but that's my goal. And so if I want to, keep that number up, I want to make sure that I'm posting things that are more like that. So more quotes, more pictures of myself, when possible, when I can. To continue growing in that way. And then here for this page, you're going to see other information that's actually going to help you make decisions about when to post, which is, again, another really great place to go. So let's say in our plan, in your social media plan, you decided that you only want to post 4 times a day. You're going to look at the days and you're going to decide based off those days which ones are the best to post. So Tuesday is a really good day because it's 285. And of course, the numbers are very slightly close to each other. So, I mean, it's not significant. But, if I was choosing days, I would choose Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, just because those are higher than the 280s from the other days. Really good question. This only works for business pages, which is why I highly recommend that if you have something going on your Facebook page, you create a business page. And let's say that you are like somebody who is trying to create a brand out of your name, then you can just create a business page named Liz Sanchez. And so everything that you would be normally posting like to your personal page, you would just be posting to, the page called Liz Sanchez. And that way, like, let's say you decide, well, maybe I want to turn to a different direction later on. You don't have to change it from like, gardening, if that's what you were into, to like chicken raising or something, it helps you to be able to keep your name without having to change like what you're about on everything that you do. So if you think you're more leaning towards the idea of like influencer or like just being a creative in general, that's a really good direction to go. Really good question. So yeah, this is definitely for personal accounts, and we'll talk about how that affects Instagram as well. The other thing that this data helps me know is it also helps me know what time is the best time to post. So again, if I'm looking at my graph and I say, okay, I'm going to post on Tuesday, the best time to post on Tuesday is 6:00 p.m. That changes for everyone, but like we've talked about before, a good rule of thumb is to schedule your post for 6 p.m. because people are getting off of work. It's mostly when people get off work, they like to relax, they go to their phone. That's a good time. Let's make sure we got two. Okay, and the last one is people. When we talk about understanding your audience, this is basically what it means. So for my page, 61% of my audience is women. If I wanted to change that, I could create content that's more masculine, that attracts a more male-oriented audience. At this time, I'm not necessarily interested in doing that, like personally for my page. So, I'm okay with still creating content that mostly draws women to my page, which is fine. It will also tell you what country the people that are on your page are mostly from. I do have some, interestingly enough, from different countries. However, the majority is in the United States, which is fine by me. And then again, it tells me cities. And so, of course, for my page, which is like an online marketing site, it's interesting that like that's all over the country, people from New York, Indiana, California, Michigan, Michigan. And again, that gives you a good idea of what you need to do to draw more people into your area. So if you're looking and you're like, okay, well, I really want to attract people from neighboring cities. So if my main audience is in Gallup, how can I get people interested from other cities that are close enough that they would want to drive to Gallup for whatever service we're offering. But yeah, those are the main places for Facebook. Are there any questions about Facebook analytics before we move on to Instagram analytics? Okay. Yeah, so basically, if there's one thing you remember about analytics, you use them as information to help you create your future posts. So what I like to do is after a month, I like to look at what worked for that month, what did not work, and then change my posts accordingly. So, you want to use the data that drives you to make better decisions about what to share and what not to share. And it basically is the exact same thing for Instagram. I would say Instagram's analytics are, at least to me, they're a little bit more easy to understand. They basically kind of give you charts and breakdowns that help make that process very simple. Let me see. Can you guys see my phone screen? Oh, there we go. Okay, so you're going to go here to Insights. And there's going to be, just like for Facebook, you're going to have quite a bit of stuff that you can look at that will kind of help you to guide your decisions. So overall, you want this number, this is your top goal number that you want. The accounts reached, 1,282 accounts. You want to be able to keep that number consistently good because you want to be able to reach a lot of people. The more people you reach, of course, the more chances you are of having some business. And then content interactions are basically that engagement. So what's your engagement looking like for your account? On that PDF that I gave you, that's basically the three top numbers. Again, there's a lot of really helpful information here. So your accounts reached, it's going to tell you what days were best. So you have the days right here that show you that they were best. You have Thursday did really well. You have Sunday did really well. So then well, maybe I want to use those days. Profile visits and website taps. And so, of course, like I talked to you guys about last time, having a link tree is super duper great because, when I tap on my link tree here, chances are people can go to any of the other places where I have information and content. So if this ever decides to load, they can either end up on my TikTok or Twitter or my store or my actual website, which of course you want people to go to a fixed website because that's where you want most of your information to be, somewhere secure where people can find your information. So once you go down to here, then you can actually start seeing, again, you want to look at those posts individually and see the numbers. And so again, reach is a really important number because it just helps you understand, are people looking at my content? What are they looking at? And so as you see here, the thing that definitely draws people in for my account is tweet screenshots. That for whatever reason they're really popular on Instagram right now, and so they do really, really well. Pictures of myself do well as well. And then you can change the timeline as well. So you have last year, but you can change it to the last 30 days. And so, okay, well, I know that the tweets did really well. I see food does well. Pictures of you and your family will always do well as well. It gives you that breakdown to help you understand, okay, what is working? What do I need to change to get a better traction? And it also shows you stories as well. And stories are just as important because it's another way that people can interact with your content. So, it'll tell you, okay, well, how many people saw your stories? It's just another easy way to get people to interact with your content. Besides reach, let's make sure we're going in order here. When you tap on content interactions, you get a breakdown of what kind of interactions, what kind of engagement did you get. They put the likes at the top. Like I said, likes are not the most important thing. There's definitely quite a few other things that are very important. Comments, saves, story interactions. It just gives you a good overview of, okay, like how did I do this month? And then of course you can change it like, okay, my last 7 days. How did I do the last 30 days? Just gives you a good overall view. Finally, here's the one that you're going to be using probably the most. Again, it will tell you your growth or lack thereof. It will tell you, again, what cities and what countries are people interacting with your content from. So, I have pretty strong, since I am from LA, I have a strong number of followers from there, from Michigan, New York, California again, and Chicago. And then it'll also tell you the breakdown of age range. So, myself being a millennial, my majority of my audience is millennials too. Again, mostly female dominated in my feed, but again, that's kind of what I do, so I'm okay with that. And it will also tell you, here's the days that you can post best. So it'll show you this and it'll give you numbers again. And so here, if I was choosing 4 days, then I would say, okay, Tuesday looks good, Wednesday looks good, Thursday looks good, Friday looks good. Those are the days that I'm going to post. My best posting times are about 12 o'clock. Yeah, they're about 12 o'clock. And so that's how I can use those numbers to help me make decisions about how I want to post later on. Yeah. So that's Instagram analytics. Are there any questions about Instagram and using your numbers on Instagram? Okay. Well, I'll just say what I said in the beginning again. Thank you so much to those of you who have shown up every single week. I've really appreciated being able to share all this information with you. It's been a lot of fun. And of course, as always, if you ever have any extra questions, as you're trying to build your pages, or you just have some quick question you want to ask me, definitely don't hesitate to shoot the question my way, either through my Instagram or Facebook. I'm more than happy to help you guys out.